So in this recording, I'm going to look at the structure again of the church, and I'm going to start with the conclusion, findings through the investigation, and then I'll go back to show you the websites I used to do this investigation. So I'm going to start with this question. I know through my search that this nonprofit is not a 501c3. So knowing that information, does it prove or show any more red flags? Again, it doesn't automatically prove wrongdoing. Let's skip down here. First important baseline, a church can legally operate without a 501c3 recognition. A church can legally operate, churches are often automatically considered tax exempt by IRS. Some choose not to file for formal recognition. Okay, so no 501c3 plus no financial transparency. You described no donation receipts, and maybe others who are listening can verify that they do not receive donation receipts for filing for their personal taxes. I am currently waiting on that response from leadership. No financial reports. No Form 990 visible. So go back, I think in part 2, I talk about the 990 filing where 501c3s, churches, any nonprofit can file a 990 so it becomes visible to the public. Without 501c3 recognition, there is less external pressure to disclose finances. Members have very limited visibility. This is not illegal, but it removes accountability safeguards. Another thing very important is no members plus centralized leadership. So from the Washington filing, which I'm going to show you the steps I've taken after I just read through this, has no members listed. That means congregation has zero legal authority. Leadership controls decisions internally. Now combine that with one central figure, president equals founder as well. President equals founder. So the president is Elder Rakah. He's a spiritual head and also the corporate head. This creates a structure where there is authority without built-in accountability from below. Mixed legal structures. So now we're getting into mixed legal structures, plus nonprofit. A nonprofit corporation, a fictitious name tied to an individual. This can be normal, but it also can blur the lines between personal and organizational control. Making it hard to track where money flows. Donations without clear tax status. Collecting donations but not providing receipts and not clearly communicating tax exempt status. That raises practical concerns. Donors may assume tax deductibility when it may not apply. That's where things can move from unclear to potentially misleading. Revenue reporting without detail, less than 500,000, board category only. So you'll find that when I go through the website. Without 501c3 filings like Form 990, no breakdown of salaries. So the 990 helps people see the salaries in the church and leadership compensation, program versus personal use. The pattern, this is the key insight. So individually, each piece can be explained, but together the structure looks like this. Central leader, control, no member governance. Members don't really have a say. There's no voting going on. Limited financial transparency, mixed legal entities, no clear public accountability filings. That combination creates a system where trust is required, but verification is difficult or impossible for members. So, uh, stay grounded. So, this is important too. What you can say factually: the organization is not publicly recognized as a 501c3. Members do not have legal governance rights. Financial transparency appears limited. Leadership control is centralized. Some of this is redundant, I know. But you should avoid claiming without proof. So, again, I can't claim, no one can claim fraud, illegal activity, misuse of funds. Not being a 501c3 alone isn't a red flag, but when combined with centralized control, lack of transparency, and unclear financial practices, it becomes a structure that allows for potential misuse without easy accountability. Okay. So this is, and I can show you the recording, a snippet from the recording. In a recording, Richard Shepard Jr. said that he is not allowed to touch the money, and it is counted by the accountant. And it is counted by the accountant. Is there deception or untruth in what he said, according to our investigation thus far? Good question. But it's important to be precise and fair, not jump to conclusions, right? What he said: I'm not allowed to touch the money. It's counted by the accountant. On the surface, that sounds like separation from funds, financial safeguards, independent handling. Where your findings actually show, from the documents you pulled, he is president of the nonprofit. He is listed as governor, top authority role. The organization has no members, no external voting body. Leadership structure appears internally controlled. That means he holds ultimate authority in the organization. Even if he doesn't physically handle cash, he likely has decision-making power over finances. Where the tension is, his statement could be technically true. It is possible that he does not physically count money. An accountant or designated person handles that task. That would make the statement literally true. But it can also be misleading. I'm not allowed to touch the money. Can imply he has no control or access, he is restricted from financial influence, but based on structure as president, he likely approves budgets, spending direction. He may have authority over the people who handle the money as well. So even if he doesn't touch the money, he may still control how money is used. This is an analogy to make it clear. A CEO can say, I don't handle the cash register. That's true, but they still control the company's finances overall. Okay. What you can honestly say about, based on the evidence, while leadership claims they don't physically handle money, the legal structure shows they still hold top authority over the organization, meaning control and oversight of finances likely still rest with them. What you cannot prove yet, that he is lying outright, he personally misused funds, that there is illegal activity. The real insight. The statement may be technically true, but it can create misleading impression of distance from financial control when structurally leadership still holds that control. It's the bottom line, but potentially a partial truth that downplays actual authority. I don't think, hold on. Okay, so let me go to where he says,
You know why I don't get money in all this and any product I do? It's
Okay. This is the recording I was personally in over the exploitation that happened in my local body by the leadership. And he is coming to sort things out and bring resolve. I'll go skip ahead to timestamp about 21:22.
money goes to an account, and the accountant deal with the money when the money comes. Well, now we're here in the last days to make this church right. And who's ever on board, get on board with what it is. Okay? Going forward, there will not be any personal collections of anything. Everything goes in envelopes, and every last bit is accounted for your area at the administration, which means I don't even touch the money. The money goes to an account, and the accountant deal with the money when the money comes in. I don't even touch the money. Okay? Because I'm not allowed to. It's the church's money. So, brothers, indirectly, what y'all have allowed is for the people to be robbed.
And I just want to read this real quick while sharing this video. According to the legal law, communications recordings in New Hampshire are governed by New Hampshire RSA 570A, while the law generally requires consent of all parties to record a private conversation. The statute includes provisions allowing a participant in a communication to intercept or record a conversation when the purpose is to obtain evidence related to the commission of a criminal act. The recording in this instance was made in good faith and with the intent of preserving an accurate record of statements that raise concerns about potential unlawful, and I'll say unethical, immoral conduct. So this is, I just wanted to put that out there for the record. Here's the recording. He even called, throughout this recording, he called it stealing and criminal behavior. But he's not speaking about himself. He's speaking about the local leadership where I was.
That's robbery. And see, and this is why in a church we have these certain agreements in place to hold the integrity. And y'all have signed these agreements that once you over a congregation and you don't do things this way and money goes out the window, folks, that's criminal. Now, I'm not one to take someone to court, but if the IRS comes after us and say, hold up, this person put in money to your church for nonprofit and there's no proof that they sent this money, this church ain't going down because somebody wanted a few dollars from the people. We would have to point it to the people that they gave the money to. We didn't steal from nobody. So understand that how deep this is, that you're making yourself liable.
Hold on. I think I missed it. 22.
Everything goes in envelopes, and every last bit is accounted for your area at the administration, which means I don't even touch the money. The money goes to an account, and the accountant deal with the money when the money comes in. I don't even touch the money. Okay? Because I'm not allowed to. It's the church's money. So, brothers, in that.
Okay, so right there you heard him word for word, which we've, through this investigation, we can see that that's can be seen as misleading. So there's that. Let me go to this This is the, let me type in that. This is the nonprofit EIN number. So this is just a website. I don't know why it's black screen. IRS website. This is to type in to see if it's a 501c3. 2527 2527 257. You can also type in the church's name, which I did originally, but I can't see here, so I'm gonna use this EIN number. And I think it's on Pennsylvania. Okay, I can see that it's Pennsylvania here. And I'm just gonna search. And again, your search did not return any results, so that's where I typed into the AI to show that, yes, this is not a registered 501c3. Again, look for yourself. Comment below if you found something else. But there's that. Doesn't show up. Then I want to show you business lookup. This is also what I typed in here, Pennsylvania Department of State. So this came up, and this is just a nonprofit. There's two active right now, one in 2017, one in 2019. One's interesting, and I'll maybe get into this a later video, that CT Corporation system. Hold on, let's go here first, though. So this is what I plugged into ChatGPT, and this is where I started about the DBA, the fictitious name. The filing type is a fictitious name. The owner is Richard Shepard, and I believe this, according to the, yeah, it says right here, this is not a nonprofit, but it's connected to the church. And then this is, if we go here, we exit out, that this is the nonprofit. So this is the central, the root of it right here, where everything kind of springs from. Washington, for nonprofit corporation. And this is the address, registered office, CT corporations. And then you get here, you get, which we already went over in prior videos, the officers, and the governor, Richard Shepard. So we know, I know everyone here but Christopher Bunch. I'm not sure who that is. But Brandon Ray is elder lawyer. Kelly Scott is Bishop of Moth. Elder Ramar here. Cordell Roberts is REI. So again, there's a tight inner circle with Elder Rakah calling the shots. And again, this doesn't prove that they're mishandling things. It just shows a lack of transparency and accountability systems that are not being practiced in this church. So there's that. Do your own research. Then we go to Washington business. Okay, so now I looked up the Washington one, the main listing here. This, you go here, you can go to corporations and charities filing system, Washington state one, and you just type in the name, you get the nonprofit corporation, you click on it, and this is the information that comes up. And this is where it talks about the non-members. So right here, it says has members, that is not checked off. So that's where the power is all concentrated at the top, where members don't really have a say in anything. And that's why Elder Acosta in his lessons mentioned, I think in the one in California, he mentioned that he doesn't want to be run by people below him. This church is not going to be ran by people below him. And we have proof of that. It's in the structure of the church. So putting it all together, we have no IRS listing, no Form 990, no public financial transparency. If you even look at their own website, you have no phone contact, leadership tied directly to the organization, multiple revenue streams, limited visible oversight. And again, individually, these can be explained individually, but collectively, this is a highly centralized structure with limited external visibility. And I want to say that this isn't about attacking anything. It's about understanding how something operates, because transparency isn't just, shouldn't be just it should be something fundamental to a church. It allows people to verify trust. And when transparency, and when transparency is limited, questions arise, and questions should not be seen as hate. Questions become necessary when there's very limited transparency and accountability, upward accountability. Because there's downward accountability when someone does wrong, but nothing going accountability towards upper leadership. And so, again, we can listen to what's being said, but it's on us to do our own due diligence and look how things operate. Okay, so there's that. Let me see here. I don't think there's anything else I want to show in the recording. Yep. So let's go. I mean, here's one thing he's talking about this recently. Not, I don't think this is directed at me, but there's other people looking into this and or raising questions who have left the church. So let's hear him talk.
In these last days, according to what Christ said would happen. We got brothers and sisters who have come in this church from different areas, and they are trying to look into private information of me and my family and all of that. All of that. And I know what they're thinking in hopes of that somebody may come. Because when you put stuff out there, thinking that you are exposing something, you're really opening me and my family up to harm. And I believe they know that too.
I just want to read a quote. And this is not about putting beliefs aside. This is about more so the structure and what this church is built. What is this church built on? So it says here, if we have truth, it cannot be harmed by investigation. If we have not truth, it ought to be harmed by investigation. So a church that is not built on transparency and accountability is often built on secrecy, control, and fear. Instead of being a foundation of trust, it is built on words and actions that conceal the truth to protect reputation, such as distortion and silence or misleading information. or silencing dissent, discouraging dissent. And we got into those in the cult video investigations, but just listen to what he's saying carefully.
But I thank the Most High how he works. The same way when a girl overseas tried to put something out years ago, we were already parlayed someplace else. And the same way they always try to, oh, I found this out. We got a brand new land that the Most High blessed us with. So we've already parlayed. Elder Lawyer and I said this from the beginning. Anything we get, we're going to put it into something tangible so that we'll have something to distribute when all things are common.
You have to
But
take
brothers
his
and
word
sisters,
for it.
I need y'all to understand how deep it's becoming. It's exactly what Christ said in Matthew 24. They want us harmed. They want us harmed, or even worse. They'll try to claim, well, no, we're just trying to expose. Listen, nah. Elder Lawyer and I in this church, we've never taken anything from anyone. We've never stolen. Everything that we've received have been honest, harmed, or even worse.
I think I have the speed up. Let me go back to regular speed. Listen, he kind of stops when he says stolen. But let's go back and hear that.
They'll try to claim, well, no, we're just trying to expose. Listen, nah. Elder Lawyer and I in this church, we've never taken anything from anyone. We've never stolen. Everything that we've received have been honest. Through works. Everything. But now, they're trying to dig up and trying to find all time. We don't care because why? We're law-abiding. We follow the Bible. We know that Christ is hedging us.
Okay, so that's similar to the recording I brought up. And earlier on when we went through the investigation into the structure of the church, we see that this church has been built on a lack of accountability. And when you don't have accountability, you can't really have real accountability without transparency. It makes room for compromise to come in. Okay, so that's all I wanted to put out there. Use discernment, think for yourself, and don't be afraid to ask questions.